welcome you to our service this morning. Just to do some house cleaning here with you and for you. We do have a prayer line, a request prayer line that you can text to, and that prayer line number is 833-943-3973. The request prayer line once again is 833-943-3973. And that's a text. You text into the prayer line, and you'll be able to have somebody send you a prayer. Also, I'd like to also say our new website is up and running, and the new website is God in Jesus Christ Ministries .churchly.com, and that's, I'm going to say it one more time: God in Jesus Christ Ministries .churchly. That's CHurchly.com. And if you would like to reach out to me and contact me personally on something you may want to discuss or talk about, you can reach me at ministermatthews@yahoo.com. And once again, that also too is ministermatthews@yahoo.com. And being this is Sunday at 9 a.m. This morning on the RBM Smooth Radio Show radio station, we'll have our gospel hour, which is 2.5 hours of gospel music. And also, you can also tune in to our world gospel music radio station as well. Now, done with that formalities. Get those things out the way for us. Our sermon for today is the love of money. And as the day as we go forth, there's a discussion always around money, the topic of money. Many people believe that money is the root of all evil. But the truth is that it is the love of money that is the root of all evil. It's just not money is evil. It is the root of the money is all evil. So we're going to look into this. We're going to look into this thing about money. It can also, we're going to explore why money itself is not evil, but rather our attitudes, our actions towards it that can lead us astray. And with that, I'm going to be into the scriptures that I'm going to be using today is 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 6 through 10. Luke chapter 10, verse 13. And we'll be also in James chapter 4, verse 4. So now as we go into this, we know that money, we sometimes say money is the root of all evil. We see money, most people, we can't live without it. Money is basically used to do trades. Back in the day, I would trade you 2 horses for two donkeys for your horse, or something for this and something for that. That was how we did trades back early in the day. On due time, we began to get money, and that was our source of now buying things. But over time, people have gathered up money, and people have become wealthy. And when they become wealthy, sometimes we see attitudes have changed in their going forth with money. Their attitude have changed as to being not generous with what they've got, with the wealth that they have accumulated. Not being, you notice a lot of rich people have become wealthy with their money, and they seem like they're being stingy. Sometimes, well, we find out later on when they pass that they have given to the unfortunate over time. But then there's people who gather all the money they can and try to get everything and keep everything and try to gather all the wealth that they want and all the wealth that they can. So as we look at this, as we look at First Timothy, uh, verse chapter 6, verse 6 through 10, and in this, money is not evil. Money is not evil. So when First Timothy chapter 6, verse 6 through 10, the Apostle Paul reminds us that money is not evil in itself. Okay? He says money is not evil in itself. And this was a letter he wrote to Timothy. And as we're going to look at this in Timothy, what he wrote to Timothy, chapter 6, verse 10, as we look at this, but godliness with contentment is a great gain. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. And having food and remnants, and that remnants is clothes, let us be there within content. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, meaning they fall into a trap, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, meaning love, meaning having a lot of love for it, which drowns men into destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some covet after, they have erred from their faith and pierced themselves through the many sorrows. Now, what is that saying here? You ask, what is that saying? So he's saying when we have money, we make money our God. We make money our worship. We make money something that we need to have, something that we want. It becomes the most important thing in our lives. It's something that we gotta have. It's something that we must need. It's something that we must keep. When you see people get money, they're out each and every day trying to get money over top of money, over top of money, over top of money, over top of money, and their attitudes change. They become very irate or arrogant towards you, especially when they become very wealthy. They become arrogant. They don't have a generosity towards people who are less fortunate. They they can walk. How many times have you walked by a person who may be just sitting on the sidewalk? You got money in your hand, but you decide not to. You decide not to. Um. You decide not to turn around and give them the money that they need. Give them a few dollars or give them a little bit of change. How many times you been sitting in your car and a panhandle comes to your window? Do you give them some money? Do the spirit move you to give them money as your father in heaven would grant you and bless you with things? No, there's some people that do that. So this is what he's saying. You're trying to keep all the money that you can. In Egypt, the pharaohs they always used to try to give the pharaohs all the gold and everything, put it in their coffins or around their tombs, put in their tombs with them when they seal it, because that was supposed to go with them in the afterlife. But as we see in this letter that Paul wrote to Timothy, you came in this world with nothing, and you surely can't go out with nothing. You're not going to leave with nothing. You're gonna have everything there. You're not going to have nothing in this world. You're not going to be able to take anything out of this world. And with that, says here, he says, for the love of money is a root of all evil, of all kinds of evil. It is our love and obsession with money that can lead us down dangerous path. Money is simply a tool that can be used for good or for evil, depending on how we choose to use it. Now we see this money is a way of using things to help people. How many times, driving down Newark years ago, uh, going past, if anybody ever lived in Newark, those that live in Newark, and you're driving up South Orange Avenue or driving down South Orange, depending on which way you're traveling. There's a school there. It's called Westside High School. Now, across from Westside High School used to be an old abandoned building. And I used to say to myself, if God ever granted me the opportunity to win the lotto or to win the lottery, I would make an affordable housing for people who are homeless, that they would be able to come and live in and be comfortable. I would make something where people can come and live comfortably. I would give a place where people who that we who have nowhere to go can go and be comfortable at. This is what my hope was if God granted me that. But we have people today that would have four houses. Four houses. They're driving. They have 5 cars. They have a summer home. They have a winter home. They have a home in the Bahamas. They have a home over here. They have a car. They have 4 or 5 cars, expensive cars. But you only could drive one car at a time. You can only live in one house at a time. So all you just go out and then taking money just because you can use money because you can buy all these things. What do God has blessed you with something, and you decide to say, well, I'm just going to do everything on me, and I'm going to shower me with all the gifts and the blessings that I want. I'm not going to give anybody else anything more. So that's what I'm going to do. And that's what happens. So in this present of this thing with money, we tend to stay with keeping money among ourselves. We don't want to give it away. We don't want to share it with other people. We want to keep it to us. We don't want to give anybody else no money. We don't want to give nobody anything. God's blessed you with money, and it's for us who has been blessed with the riches to bless other people, to give the less fortunate. There have been football players, baseball players, people who have written books, who have, unbeknownst to us, have given tons of money away. At the time when they died, we hear that they given every year $2,000 a year to somebody, to colleges, or $50,000 to colleges, a college scholarship, $50,000 a year for students to be able to go to college. We hear of people who have supported people over the years who have, unbeknownst, and the person doesn't know who it is, and they just give the money because they have been blessed. This is what Paul says here, that if you use the money for good, you will be blessed because you're a blessing the person and because God will bless you more, and you're blessing the people that you're giving it to. But on the other turn, there's the evil part. Here's a person who goes out, gets money for himself, doesn't spend the money, doesn't share his wealth or spread his wealth around his community, within the community that he lives, and spread his wealth and give it to people who are less fortunate than him. He decides to keep it for himself. Now he dies. All that money in the bank, just sitting there. It's just sitting there. Nobody touches it. Nobody can do anything with it. It's done for. The money is gone. The money is wasted. And we see family members. You have uh, very wealthy people who at the time die, and then here family members are fighting over money that is just sitting there, and they're going at each other over this money. For what reason? The person is gone. Why not? Okay, he's gone. Okay, let's us take what portion we need, and then get, excuse me, give the rest to everybody else. Give the rest to everybody else. Share with the world. But they don't. They want to fight. We see that with various artists and things like that. So what Paul is saying here, and the rich, they fall, and they become tempted because now you have money. You use money, which has power. You use money to bribe people to get what you want. How many times have we seen politicians bribe other politicians or bribe somebody to do things to to gain gain office, public office, or anything like that? How many times have we seen temptation of expensive, expensive and elaborate gifts that cost money and give this? How many times have we seen man use money to hurt for lustful things? We have these things that people tend to take. You're losing your soul when you make money your God. I've heard some people over in my course of my years of living, heard people say, well, money is my God, or money is my ruler, because money rules you. And the morning you get up, you go to work to make money, and you come home and you gotta pay your bills and everything, and that's normal. That's a normal life. And you take your money and you spend it on you, your wife, your kids, your bills, and cover all the things you need. But you have this little bit of money. Maybe you go to church and you decide, okay, I'm gonna put my 10% into the into the offering. And there you see, you have the offering, you have the love offering, you have the building offering, you have other type of offerings. And you may be wealthy enough to give a certain amount to each thing, where other people are only able to give just enough. This is what he means also by the love of money. Doing money for evil. When you do money for evil, you taking money and you tempting another person. Here, I want to get the office of mayor, so I'm gonna pay people to pay somebody $2,000 to make sure I win the office of mayor. Here, I'm gonna pay somebody certain amount of money to make sure I get what I want. This is the evil. This is what changes you. This is what transforms your soul. This is what makes you evil within inside. You may look good. You may look good all outside with all the money you bought, but you're totally evil inside. Your inside is totally destroyed. It's not godly. As we see there in our second part, in our part two of this, and our second point to this, the problem The problem lies in our heart. Now, a heart can fool us, a heart can mislead us, but also our heart. And as we see in Luke 10, Jesus warns us about the dangers of greed and the materialistic. He says, no servant can serve two masters. No servant can serve two masters. You cannot serve God and money. And as I'm gonna read here, what he says here, what we read in Luke, woe unto thee, Calzarin, Calzarin, woe unto Bethsaida, for if the mighty work had been done in Tyre and Sodom, which have been done in you, they had a great while ago repented, sitting in the sackcloth and ashes. So what he's saying here, what Jesus was saying here is that there was a lot of work to be done, but these people did not want to do it. As you read in Luke, this is the fall. This is a fall. This is somebody trying to serve two masters. You're trying to serve money and you're trying to serve God at the same time. And you can't. As he said, you will love one and you will hate the other. Or you will love one and you will despise the other. Neither will you either here it is, either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. So when you love money and you won't be able to love God, you won't be able to have your devotion to God because you have this love for this piece of paper, just this piece of paper that we use to make trade with. This is what we use paper for. It's just a piece of paper. You burn it, it's gone. That's why when the Pharisees brought the coin to Jesus and said, is it lawful to pay taxes? And Jesus said, whose face is on that? And they said, it's Caesar's. And what he said, give what is Caesar's to Caesar, give what is God to God. Meaning the money is go to Caesar's, but your heart, your soul, your mind goes to God. That's what it says. So when you try to love money at the same time you try to love God, you're not gonna be. They're not. It's like water and oil. It ain't gonna mix. It's like water and oil. It's not gonna mix. Um. So let me see where I was. Oh, despite the other, you cannot serve good, both God and money. Just like I said, you can't serve God and money at the same time. The problem is not money itself, but rather our heart and where our priorities lie. So, where does your priority lie? Here we go. The first time in your priorities. Okay, you get up in the morning. Do you give God thanks? Or do you go right away and see how much is in your bank account? When you look in your bank account and you see that check that client sent you is there, and you see it's a big check, and you say, God, thank you for that. Thank you, God. You blessed me. Now you take that same check that client got you, You may go pay some bills, take care of some bills that you have, buy something for your wife if you're married, or buy something for your kids, or maybe buy something for the type of business you in. Then you may turn around and say, well, let me go to church. And when I used to go to church in New York, when I went to Catholic school, in church there was a poor box. And my grandmother, God rest her soul, she used to give me some change and say, this is the offering. You put this in the offering. You put this in the poor box. So when the offering came by, I put what change she gave me in the offering. And then I would go to the poor box, put the money in the poor box, and then over top of the poor box was candles. So you would light a candle. You would light one or two or three candles. You would light a candle for whoever you needed to light a candle and say a prayer. And that's what I would do. So this is what we are to do with money. Money is just something that we use to make trade, to get gain, and things like that. It's not something that we hold fast to, and we should try to keep among ourselves. Um, when we prioritize money above all else, we are in danger of falling into a trap of greed and selfishness. You prioritize money for yourself. You prioritize that. Money is the most important thing. Money is the most thing that you need. Money is something that you need to have. Money is something that we need to have money to work. We need money to buy, to make sure we pay our car note, our house, our rent, buy clothes, buy food. But money just to do we need money to we can have enough money. Be content with what you have. This is one thing what Paul is also saying. Be content with what you have. If you make $50,000, and I know times is hard now, and that's a problem. But in some cases, you make do what is due, because as we remember, our Heavenly Father will make sure He will provide for us, and we prioritize what He gives us, what blessings He can give us, and we prioritize that, and He will bless it tenfold. So the money that we have, we prioritize that. He is first. Our family is second. And then money should be third. Because with the money, we can take care of everything that we need is also, but first we give Him. We give Him what is due. And this is also what Paul and Jesus have said in here. Money is not evil. It is just the way we use it and how we use it and how we prioritize it to make it evil. If you use it for good, it's going to do well for us. It's going to bless you. If you use it for evil, you're going to fall into a snare. How many times have we seen wealthy people who are wealthy in power, and then they go, and then all of a sudden, here comes their downfall. They're caught in embezzlement schemes. They're caught in scandalous affairs. They're caught in bribes. They're caught in all kind of things. And when we find out the root of everything is money. When police come and there's incidents where there is embezzlement or fraud or anything like that going on, what's the one thing they follow? What's the trail they say? Follow the money. The money will lead you to who is behind it. This is where the greed comes in. We see men who swindle people out of thousands of dollars because of their greed. This is what also Paul is saying here. Our priority is I want to have more than anybody else. I want to have more than anybody. I want to be able to have all the money in the world, and all the money in the world can't stop you from getting ill. All the money in the world can't stop you from even leaving this physical body. This physical body goes in the ground. The money don't go behind you. There's a song out that says that all the things you gain in this world, you'll never see a U-Haul following behind a hearse. I'm going to say it one more time. All the things you gain in this world, all the money you can have in this world, your 5 houses, your your 5 cars, your hundreds of closets of clothes, your 20 pair of Jordan sneakers, none of that. You can't put that whole closet and those Jordans in a U-Haul and carry it to your grave. It's not going. The only thing that's going with you towards that grave is a bunch of flowers. How many of us spend our money on a pair of Jordans that's $120? We buy 4 or 5 or 6 pairs. How many pairs of sneakers can you wear? This is what it is. It's just nothing but greed and just being selfishness with yourself. You buy yourself, well, I gotta have, I gotta have these new Jordans, and you spend this, and you're being selfish. You're spending money that you you just you're just wasting, and that's what Paul is talking about. In point 3, we're looking at the temptation and the love of money. Here, with the love of money we have, we 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 get money, and we wanna have all the money we can. We wanna keep all the money we can. We wanna make sure that all this money stays with us. All this money. We don't want nobody to have any of it. So in James, here's what we see with James. Here's what he says. Here's what Jesus says in James. Ye adulterers, ye adulterers and adulteress, know ye not are the friends of the world, is envy intimately within God. Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is an enemy of God. Now, you have money. A wife sees you as a man with a lot of money. A husband doesn't have a lot of money. She decides to come with you because she doesn't come with you, but she kind of steps out on her husband, or a man steps out on his wife because he sees another woman another person who has more money than his wife does. So he wants a part of that money, and he wants to live this lavish luxury life with this person. He has a wife, he has a girlfriend, but he has a wife and a girlfriend. You have a wife and a girlfriend, and you're spending money on both of them. And this is what he's saying. So he's saying you're not a friend of God. You doesn't have a relationship with God. You're an enemy to God in this relationship. Your love for this money, your love to do evil things, your love to be an adulteress, your love to be a or forgerer to get more money, your love to blackmail people to get more money, your love to I'm sorry, not to blackmail, but to bribe, to make sure you get what you want. That's what you're gonna pay and make sure people get you more money. They get you more money. If you don't pay me this 3,000 or 4,000 or $50,000, I'm gonna tell your wife that you've been cheating. So you blackmail the person to get more money. You're not as fair. You're not as innocent as a person. You're blackmailing. Even though he may be an adulterer, but You're a blackmailer. You're doing evil for evil. You're being evil towards him. He may be doing evil towards his wife, and you may say, "Well, he was cheating on his wife. So what? You're blackmailing him. You're a rich man. Let me give you a story. A rich man has money. He's able to a rich man. He has money. Uh, he has a client, not a client, but he has a worker that works for him. He has a chauffeur who chauffeurs him around. He has people who fixes food. He has a person who takes care of his house. 3 different people that does things. He's a wealthy person. He's wealthy. This man, the chauffeur, his wife is sick. She needs an operation. He doesn't have the money to pay for it. He's struggling to figure out how to pay for it. He comes to you, tells you about it, and you just nod your head, and he goes on and drives. Still keeps driving you around. the the chef who fixes your food, they come to you, they tell you they're getting ready to be thrown out on the street. You nod your head. You ask them how much they owe. You nod your head. Just like you asked the chauffeur how much is his wife operation is. He just nods his head. You have the person who cleans your house, that comes in and cleans your house. Their mother and their father are sick, and they don't have the medicine that they have. They have to have more medication, and the medication altogether costs a lot on a monthly basis. Plus their travel back and forth. Let's say they go to dialysis, their travel back and forth to dialysis. Even though in this time we get certain things, but they're on a fixed income, and then their rent is doing. She wants to her family instead. She wants to move her mother and father into her house, but her apartment is small. She wants to try to get a bigger apartment, but the money you pay these people is not enough for them to do what they need to do. You agree to make sure you keep all that you have and not help the people that service you is hurtful. To keep all the money that you have and not service the people that help you. It's not the man who has his issue with his wife, the man who's losing his apartment, the the woman or the other man whose mother and father needs to come and live with them and their medication. But you have enough money to give the man enough money to pay for his wife's operation. You have enough money to help the man do what he needs to do. You have enough money to give this person what they need to do. You have enough, you have this money. Why not share it? God's blessed you with it. Why not? Why not share the money? Why not do this? But it's your greed, it's your selfishness. It's what you want for you. You don't want nobody else to have this money. You want everything. So let me give you another illustration of this. Imagine a man who is succumbed by the desires to acquire more and more money than he sorry, let me restart this again. Let me rephrase this again. Let's imagine a man who is so overcome by the desires to acquire more and more money that he neglects his family, okay, his friends, and even his own health. He works long hours, cuts corners, and takes advantage of others in order to increase his wealth. Um, this desire is financial success. We all do look for success, but success can be found. You can find the measure of success. You can find your own measure of success. You can find your own measure of success. That measure of success can be your own measure. But this is his desire. He neglects his family. He neglects his friends. He neglect. You know, I work. I don't work anymore. But when I used to work, I didn't try to neglect my family. I try to spend. There's times I try to spend with my family. There's times I try to spend days that I do. Even now, when I don't work, I still do private coaching, and I kind of break those days down. Try to make ends meet within the hours that I have. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. But these are the things that you need to try to do. Neglect your health. When you neglect your health, you can't get any more money. The only thing that's going to happen is you're going to become ill. You're going to become sick. You're going to wind up in the hospital. So now, how are you going to make How are you going to make money? How you going to get money? Are you going to get money for your family anymore? You can't, because you're not going to be able to. You won't be able to work. Your wealth and desires thing. He is left feeling empty and unfulfilled, realizing too late that the love of money has led him down a destructive path. The love of money, the greed, the love, the greed, the selfishness that you have for money will lead you all the way down a destructive path. You lose your health, you lose friends, you lose loved ones because nobody wants to be with you because they feel you're selfish, you're arrogant. Just like I said, there's people who have a lot of money, but they do share their money, but they share it wisely and smartly. But then there's some that just don't know. I'm not sharing anything I have for anybody. I'm keeping it for myself. There's nobody that's going to get anything from me. And this is what we have. So let us go back over those 3 points again as we look back at 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 6, 6, verse 6, 6 to 10. The Apostle Paul reminds us again and reminds us that money is not evil itself. He reminds us that the money is not evil itself. He says, for the love of money is the root of all evil. It is our love and obsession with money that can lead us down a dangerous path. Money is simply a tool that can be used for good or for evil. So this is what Apostle Paul had said. Depending on how we choose to use it. And that's what Apostle Paul has said there. Also in the book of Luke, as we look in the book of Luke, what is the problem? The problem is our heart. Here, Paul, here in Luke 10:13, Jesus warns us about the dangers of greed and materialism. Uh, this is where we see people with 5 houses and 6 cars, 10 cars. They're greed. And not to knock people who got that, you got it. Some people say you got it, blown it. But what else do you do if you got all of it? If you got it all, do you share it among other people? Do you share among other friends? Do you Give it among other people outside of your community, outside of where you live. Um, a lot of famous people, when they had passed, they had always paid people's tuition. There's a man runs around uh, during Christmas time. He sends people, um, what he sends them, he sends them money. They get him sometime a check in the mail. There's another young man, much older man, who took his inheritance and paid tuition. A person, they were blessed with enough money and they were able to pay tuition going forward. Not the whole tuition, but at least to get those college people started with the money. Is that a blessing for those people that he shared his money with? Yes, it's a blessing that he shared his money with. This is what the good part about money. The evil part is when you take the money and you use it for bad. You use it to hurt people. You use it to destroy a person. You use it to blackmail a person. You use it to bring somebody down because you don't like them, because you don't want them to have the same amount of money you have. You don't want them to have what you have. This is what the evil part about money can do. Uh, you can't allow money to be your ruler. You can't allow money to dictate your life. You can't allow money to dictate the way you are. You have to have money under control. The only thing that you can allow that to dictate your life is God. And God is the only thing that can dictate your life, not money. That's why Jesus said, you can't serve two masters. You're going to love one or hate the other. You're going to do for one or despise the other. And this is what it is. You be selfish. When you prioritize money above all else, you are in danger of falling into a trap of greed, of selfishness, meaning you want to get more and more and more and more and more money each and every time. Every time you want more and more and more money. This is what it is. This is what happens to us when we start to grab for money over and over and over again. But in my conclusion, before I go there, before I finish up on this, let me go down to James with the temptation of money, the temptation and the love of money. You make a lot of money and you buy so many things, but you don't try to spread that love around. And I'm not saying that you have to get your money and I'm gonna just know. There's some people that get money and they just like, money doesn't mean nothing to me. Money is just a tool, and that's how they use it. There's people who, nah, I'm not, I'm not getting my money like that. I'm not doing my money like that. That's fine. As long as you prioritize, and prioritize, like I had said before, God first, family, then money. You don't want to lose your family over money. Most most marriages and friendships are broken up over money. You lend money to somebody, that person don't pay you back, they're no longer your friend. A husband and wife, sometimes the husband may have a great job, wife has a so-so job, but he's feeling that she's not on her level. Like we hear a lot of people say right at this point in time, I'm not going to marry a man who's not making six figures. You're worrying about material things. You should worry about a man that is going to treat you right, a man that's going to respect you, a man that's going to be a godly man who has a belief in something, who is following something that is going to lead him down the right path, not just, oh, he's got 6 figures, so I know I'm going to live good. Or a woman who sees another man who's got more money than her husband, she dumps her husband to go live with this man who has more money, who doesn't care nothing about you, and winds up kicking you over to the side for somebody he has, somebody he wants. He doesn't respect you. He doesn't be with you. So this is what money does to us, because we see money as something that we need. I need. It's our drug sometimes. Money is our drug sometimes. And that's how we look at money, as a drug. So let me go with the conclusion in this. Be careful of those dangerous paths. As we reflect on today's sermon, let us remember that money is not evil in itself. It is our attitudes and our actions towards money that can lead us astray. Excuse me. Let us guard our heart against the love of money, and instead seek to use our resources for the greater good. Whatever resources you have, use it for the greater good. And may we prioritize our relationship with God above all or else, and trust in His provisions for our needs. And that is the sermon for today on the love of money. As we go forth, as you go forth later on and Sunday morning, think about when you're spending your time with your family and you're spending money. Think about what I've said. Think about money as the way you use it, the way it is, the way you use it, and what it's used for. It's just used for trade. It's just something that you trade for. You trade money for food, for keeping the electricity on in the house, keeping gas in the car, being able to travel. Just in some cases, be content with what you have. Be content with how things are. Don't look to try to have more than what you got. Don't look to have more than what you want. Don't look to have more than what you need. Just keep with what you would love to have, or what you would love to do. Think about the people that don't have enough. If you got some to spare, it won't hurt to just give a few dollars to some person in need. And with that, people, I would like to say to you once again, if you would like to request a prayer on our prayer line, you can reach us. You can dial up the prayer line and text into it. The number is 833-943-3973. That's the request prayer line. You can um, text your prayer there, and we'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. I'll help somebody to get back to you as soon as possible. Also, if you want to reach out to me, you can also reach out to us on our new website, God in Jesus Christ Ministries website. On our new website, and it's God in Jesus Christ Ministry churchly.com, and the Churchly is CHURCHLY. So God in Jesus Christ Ministries churchly.com. And if you want to just send me an email to me, you can send that to ministermatthews@yahoo.com. Also, on our sites, on our streaming podcasts, on our streams, if you would like to bless the ministry, you got a give. You can donate to to on the top right hand corner. There's a donation to donate to the ministry if you would like. So with that, and just remember at 9 o'clock this morning, every Sunday, RPM Smooth Radio plays their gospel music for 2.5 hours. Sometime we go, depending on the first Sunday and last Sunday, we normally play 5 hours. We go 7 hours of gospel music. We also have in the mornings, in the early mornings, it's 4 to 6 in the morning, Monday through Saturday, 4 to 6 also. And you can also hear gospel music on the World Gospel Music Radio. And with that, I say, bless each and every one of you. And thank you for your time, and thank you for letting me come into your household.